All right, traders. This is Blake Morrow. You are listening to the Morning Edge. Well, I got a couple interesting comments. And by the way, a lot of you guys have done very well in the Aussie New Zealand, so that makes me happy. I know I've been talking about it a lot, so I'm glad you guys are. I'm glad you guys capitalized on that move. Some of you guys, we always want more of a position. Oh my God, this guy. Some of you don't. I mean, I don't watch the NBA. I really, I became, I watched the playoffs. Usually, when the playoffs are happening, I start watching it a little bit. I kind of lost my interest in the NBA. I don't know, 10 years ago when they had a big strike, and it was about wages and their pay, and I was like whatever. And for whatever reason, I just hadn't been, and plus, I haven't had a really strong team to step behind, so I hadn't really watched a whole lot. But man, this guy, Steph Curry, if you guys watch NBA, I mean, this guy is insanely, like, he's like ridiculous. There's always somebody, there's always a Michael Jordan out there, like the next Michael Jordan, whether it's Kobe Bryant or whatever else. But if you guys watch, this guy's just like crazy. It's crazy talent. It's like that. When you see an athlete that has just got so much talent, you're like, how? So amazing to me. Anyway, okay. Anyway, that has nothing to do with markets. I wanted to read this really quick. Compex Trader said, um, uh, uh, visited Toronto Stock Exchange in the very late 1990s. One of the trivia questions were, or was at the time, the best investments from year X to year X was real estate or stocks or hockey, trading cards. Trading cards won out, so maybe not the worst idea from the ECB. And Nick, who is in Italy, he's a Brit abroad in Italy, says the ECB to purchase Rawlings plastic Star Wars characters. All the rave with little kids in Italy at the moment. Hey, you never know what the ECB is capable of. Who knows? Maybe that'll be the case. Anyway, I obviously joke around with all that stuff, but the ECB is really, I mean, in all seriousness, the question is, what are they going to buy? That's always the question. Is like, okay, what kind of asset classes are they going to dip their toe into now? And at what point does the market go, that's pretty risky? Yeah, at some point the market might go, yeah, I don't know about that. What kind of corporate bonds are you buying exactly? Be a little bit more, be a little bit more. Uh, 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 you know, Succinct about that. Anyway, so we were talking about the euro dollar, and we put in these dotted lines yesterday about support here and resistance up here. Okay, and yesterday we rallied all the way up towards the resistance, or this we tested this previous or the underside of this trend line, and we reversed pretty aggressively. So that was really nice. Now I think the euro is going to get back towards 110, but you're just going to have to let the euro figure it out ahead of the ECB. There's probably a lot of longs that don't really want to be long the euro at the moment. Into going into the ECB. Actually, I shouldn't have done that. But at this here, let's get rid of this one too. We don't need this trend line. At the moment, it's pretty clear to me our range that we're looking at today. The range is obviously from this 109.40 to 110.50, 5.50. Okay, but the what we've talked about as far as the inverted head and shoulder pattern here, let's remove that for a second, and let's remove this, let's remove that, and we know that this is a 38% retracement, so that's what's stalling us. Okay, I don't have to keep this fib level in there. I'm going to remove it. Okay, for this morning. Okay, but you can see the 38% retracement. That's what's really impacting the euro. Now, if you take a good look at the euro dollar right now, and I'm going to remove this channel. I don't think we need that at the moment. We might need it later, because if the euro comes down, we're probably going to have to redraw this trend line and see where we're going to stop. So I'll just draw it again really fast. Okay, so if the euro starts to break down, we might need to figure out this trend line on the way back down again. Okay, but for right now, this is really the range. Now, what you'll also notice here is this may be what we call a complex head and shoulder pattern, which, this would be the shoulder here, this would be a shoulder here, and this is your head. Okay, that's entirely possible. Now let me grab this other trend line. God damn it. No. There we go. Okay, so my opinion is that this is your range. Okay, this is the range that we're dealing with. We have support. And if you're short the euro dollar right now, you have to be really careful. I actually wouldn't be trading the euro right now. I'm just telling you guys right now. I mean, either we're going to break through here and it's going to be a continuation pattern back down towards 108, this support over here. Okay. All right. This, all this major support through here, which comes in around 108. Either we're going to break down through 109 and change and, make our move to 108, or we're going to break above the 110 60 area, 50 area, and we're going to gun for 113. It is solely dependent on the ECB. I wish. No, my screen is not frozen, Brian. If your screen's not moving right now, you log out and log back in. Okay. Just sorry. So right now we have this range here. Okay, and the future movement of the euro is dependent not on my or your ability to predict future price in the market. The future movement of the euro dollar is basically going to be decided by the ECB, which if it breaks out and you're right, don't think that I predicted it. You don't know what the ECB is going to do today. You have no idea. None. No clue. If you think you know, you don't. You don't. It's a guessing game right now. I have no idea what the ECB is going to do. All right? I think the risk is that they don't do as much as the market wants because they've built up these expectations. So I think the risk is that they just don't do it enough and the euro starts to break higher. But I'm not trading long the euro US dollar based on that news or based on that expectation. I'm not. Because frankly, the ECB is capable of blowing the doors out of quantitative easing. Okay? They truly are capable of it. And I'm not going to ignore that fact. So your best bet right now is really just adhering to this range. And if we break out of the range, there's going to be plenty of opportunity here. There's going to be plenty of opportunity over the next 24 hours if we break there or if we break here. All right? So, I already saw one young trader yesterday blow his account out due to the Bank of Canada, which, we had a half an hour discussion on the Lunch Money webinar yesterday about how when you're in a trade, you should manage your trades to at least, well, some of you said 2% risk of your account per one trade. I say it's more like 1%, but how you turn a 1% risk into 100% of your account risk is beyond me, especially if you're a normal listener of the Morning Edge. We talk about risk management all the time, all right? And if you don't know what's going to happen here ahead of a central bank meeting, and you don't have the financial wherewithal to take on some risk, don't take the risk because you don't know what's going to happen, okay? So 110.50, 109.40, and that's it. 1.0940, 110.50, and that's key resistance, and I'm going to venture to say that's key support. All right, we're in a range environment. The ECB will alter this chart. If you think it's a head and shoulder pattern, it's not. It's not until the ECB makes it so. If you think it's a continuation pattern, we're heading down toward the range, it's not. It's not until the ECB makes it so. And if you happen to go, oh, I knew that head and shoulder pattern was going to play out. I knew it. I was right. No, you were just you happen to be on the right side of the market. That's it. Okay. We don't know what the ECB is going to do. I can tell you they are capable of doing a lot. They've shown it. Even Mario Draghi's words can move the market a lot if he wants to. All right. It's a toss-up, guys. It is a toss-up. Well, let's go over to the cable, the pound. And good news is we're going to be together when the ECB is, all this stuff is coming out. So we're going to be monitoring it together. I am not opposed to buying or selling the euro dollar today. Okay. Here's the cable. Very similar range. Look at this. Look at this tightness. Now, you know what's really cool about that? You see this trend line right here? See that trend line? Trend line's got to be monitored very carefully. That resistance got to be monitored very carefully. Okay? If we break higher, okay? If we break higher in the euro dollar, it could drag the, hold on really quick. It could drag the euro. I mean, the euro could drag the cable up with it. The flip side is the euro pound could also rip and might not allow the cable to rally. I don't know. It's kind of a toss up there. But we are still, and this is from yesterday's analysis here. Let's get rid of that. We are still at this point in time making higher lows. Okay, we're making higher lows, and at this point we are consolidating. So a breakout above 142.85 would be extremely bullish. 142.85 would be extremely bullish for the cable. Support is 141.30. Okay. And we are in a range, but I'll tell you what, if the cable can break above that yellow line, it's going to start turning bullish near term. We're going to see a hella squeeze. And I wouldn't want to be short the cable if it breaks above that yellow line, personally. All right, let's go over to the Swissy. So the Swissy, again, big rejections yesterday at the 110.30. Again, right? I mean, look at this is, so you all know, I mean, it's a 618 retracement. It's capping it, like, big time. Now, if the ECB does not deliver, or actually, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. I'm sorry, I was thinking opposite. If the ECB delivers and the euro gets crushed, yeah, here, oh, now they're going to lower deposit rates. Here we go. They cut deposit rates. They did. They cut the deposit rate, so the euro's coming down. They did. Okay. Everybody expected that, by the way. And they cut the refi rate to 0. Okay. So the euro did come under pressure. So they cut the refi rate, but notice the Kiwi just hit new highs. The euro sold off, but it's, wait, new lows. New lows in the euro. Wow, euro is really getting crushed here. Holy cow. So I mean, they delivered a cut. And man, okay, the euro's popping back above 109. Careful. The cable's coming down. New lows, euro below to the 70s. Man, this euro is getting worked right now. So they expanded quantitative easing to 80 billion euros a month. Okay, so they did go there. Wow, they're not letting anything. They really threw out the kitchen sink. Now, look at equity markets. Look at how they've rallied. I'm going to sell some more Kiwi, by the way. Um, Now, it's interesting. The dollar yen's hitting new highs, by the way. Equities are rallying quite sharply. Wow, they're not leaving anything for Draghi's press conference. Holy cow. Look at the Swissy. The Swissy's not rallying. Huh. That's interesting. Stand by. So we did break lower. So they're expanding to 80 billion. They cut the refi rate, they cut the deposit rate, and they're doing more quantitative easing. So they really brought out the big guns. Now, okay, so the euros come under pressure. Any rally back to 109 and a quarter when Mario Draghi speaks, that's going to be some that's going to be uh, a, an area that people are going to be looking to short into. By the way, I added to my Kiwi dollar, which is good. My average is 66.79. Now gold spiked down, but gold didn't really move a whole lot. Now the euro's coming back. We spiked to the 60s. Hold on, let me check something. Let's go over to the hourly. Dang, they released all of this, so Mario Draghi's not going to be able to do much at this point. It's not going to be about the press conference now. We hit the 786 retracement. Hold on. We exceeded the 161% extension there. I don't think I want to get long the euro necessarily, but you know what's interesting? Notice how the equity markets peaked here. Huh. This Kiwi's weak. If this equity market comes down from here, hold on, I'm going to sell just a little bit more Kiwi. Stand by. Okay, I sold just a little bit more. My cost average is right here at 79. Check something here with the S&P. Wow, I didn't expect all this movement right at the announcement, but they made so many changes that it all came out right at the announcement. The Swissy can't break above that 1.0030, which is key right here. It's critical resistance. It's a 618. And even with the strength of the or the the strength of the euro, I meant the strength of the fall of the euro. The Swissy is not breaking out, which is interesting. Let me take a look at where the cable's at, because I might actually buy some pound dollars here. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'll tell you what I'm going to do right now. I just bought some pound New Zealand. Instead of buying the pound dollar, because I want to short the Q, I just bought it at 112.30. I just bought a little bit of pound New Zealand rather than trying to buy the pound, or rather than trying to buy the pound dollar. I bought the pound New Zealand here on this dip. We had a 50% retracement. Okay. The euro is still under pressure though. Swissie's new highs. Dollar yen just hit new highs too. Stocks are ripping here. Okay, let me look at that cable again. Well, so much for our morning analysis. It's kind of getting derailed right at the moment. See, the pound came down and it came down towards support, but it just got basically dragged down by the euro dollar at this point. Kiwi can't go anywhere. Oh, the euro pound did break down. Thanks, Ben. It did. The euro pound did break down. That euro pound looks like it's going to 75 pence. So I'd be a buyer down at 75 pence. I'm not, or even if you want to short it on a rally back up to 77 pence, that could be a good trade. I'm not looking at it though. I want to focus really quick on what we've got in front of us. So the euro dollar, let's see where the euro's stopping here, where it's stopping. Okay, we're at the 786, but I mean, if you were anticipating a inverted head and shoulder pattern and you were long, obviously you're wrong because it broke through that support. Now, 108 is going to be major support on the way down. You guys know that. I mean, here, I can get rid of all this stuff. Here, let's get rid of all these. Okay, so now if you guys want to trade the euro dollar, selling it back at, if you can get a move back to, if we can get a bounce back to 109, maybe 109.25 or so, that'd be a nice rally back to sell. Stocks are really liking what we got here. Aussie new highs. Wow, stocks are ripping. Hold on really quick. Dang, all the action happened early at the rate decision. Right at the 618 here. Look at that. Look at the equity markets breaking through the highs. They really like the bazooka that the ECB brought today to the party. The dollar Canadian is strong, which is really interesting to me. New highs Swissy, new lows euro. Interesting. Well, you know what? I'm gonna have to come back and do our morning analysis. I'm gonna have to get it done before Draghi does his press conference. Wow. Well, we wanted volatility. We got some dang volatility. Um, I might be selling some more dollar yen soon. I got to see. I have to see how the equity markets respond up here. See how we just probe new highs, but all it is just a probe. I might start selling some dollar yen here very shortly. Look at the dollar Canadians, almost at highs on the day. What the what the heck? I like it. This Kiwi's a piece of garbage. Johan says the new LTR TLTRO will have a 4-year maturity. Wow. All right, I'll be back. I got to read some of this stuff too, so I gotta get caught up. I'm just sitting here watching charts right now. But watch the euro; it's still heavy. Dollar Canadian new highs. Yeah, go. Okay, I'll be back in a few minutes. We'll continue on with our morning analysis when we get back. Thanks, everybody. All right, traders. This is Blake Morrow. You were listening to the Morning Edge webinar. Wow, man, we're getting some good moves. But the euro just dipped to 108.35. It's bouncing back a little bit. The commodity currencies, the Aussie is still pretty strong. The Kiwi's holding up in the 80s. The Canadian has slipped back into the 60s. The dollar yen still holding it well above 114 as the markets look really strong. I just glanced over at the DAX to see how the DAX is doing. DAX is attempting a breakout here. Here's a 1-hour chart. If you go over to a 4-hour chart, you can see that we're really starting to trying to accelerate. We're trying to break higher. Okay, but man, the euro has really taken it in the chin here across the board. And the ECB did deliver. They delivered, and they did not disappoint. And they told the market they weren't going to disappoint, and they did not. So really big moves here in the euro. The cable had the cable had pulled back a little bit as well, but still, not too much. The euro dragged it down, but not by a lot. The dollar yen is still spiking above 114. I'm considering actually adding to my dollar yen on the short side here. I have not, but I'm looking to do it soon. And let's see here. The euro dollar is trying to find a foothold. Let's go into our analysis. I'm gonna try to wrap up all this stuff really quick. So the Swissy broke above the 110.30 level. Okay, we broke above 110.30, so that means that the next stopping point is going to be it's going to be this previous support right through here. Let me grab this line. $101. Okay, 101 will be the next stopping point here. So we broke through that resistance at 1.01. Be next resistance there. Let's see, dips now in the Swissy. Hold on, let me go to a 4-hour chart. So support will be at 99.60 on the way back down. Dollar yen starting to roll over. We are still in a range environment. Let's go over to the yen. So the yen spiked up to the 114. Hold on, let me, God, it's a mess. Euro's bouncing back to 60. So obviously key resistance here in the dollar yen is going to be the 114.50 again. Spike high right here is 114.55. Support on the way back down. Support on the way back down will be, I don't want to write 113.80 because we'll probably see that, but it's going to be right here. $113.20 on the way back down. We're still in a bearish trend while it's below 115 and 115.50. Let's go over to the Canadian. So the Canadian actually has acted fairly well. I thought it would actually, with the equity markets rallying the way that it rallied, I thought we would dip a lot further than we did. I thought we would, possibly test, if not break, the 132.30 level, but that 132.30 is obviously very key support. Resistance is going to be 133, right? That'll take the downside pressure off. Still in a range there. Kiwi. I'm short Kiwi dollars. I'm short at 66.77. So just right where we're basically at. 38% retracement at 66.90 is capping us thus far, but we could rally all the way to 67.15 without much of an issue, which will be right here, especially if equities retain their bid. 67.15. Support will be 66.15. We are still in a range. Aussie dollar is still bullish, but we have stopped at key resistance, which is 75.30, which we marked down yesterday, which was this previous, you had to go all the way back to April of last year, 75.30. It's key resistance. We are bullish in the Aussie right now, and it's still making higher lows. So I think while we are above here, $74.40, it remains bullish, 0.7440. Okay, let's go over, just trying to quickly do this, guys. Let's go over to the dollar index. Stocks made a brief new high and are coming down, FYI. Okay, I'll come back to that here in a second, but dollar index, big resistance, 98.50. Okay, 98.55, which you can see the reason why this is such key resistance. That dotted line, we had it written up there for a while. So 98, let's just call it 98.55. 98.55 key resistance there. Support on the way back down. I'd say 97.50. Here would be right through here. Right there. what's the high right here? $97.56. So I'm going to just write down $97.55. Okay, and I just want to get all this done before Draghi speaks. We're still in a range. Let's go over to peso. Peso should find major support down here. And peso's breaking lower as stocks broke higher too. But peso should find a lot of support here at 17. There's 1755 and then 1745. So I'm going to write down 1755 for right now, but man, there's going to be a lot of support down here. If you guys are looking for longs, okay, big support down there in the peso. Obviously resistance is still at 18. Let's see how the moves affected the Nordic currencies in the euro. That US dollar Norwegian krona is still really choppy here. Look at how choppy it is. Not anything to do there. Let's go over to the Swedish krona. It's like these currencies are not being really affected by the ECB move. I mean, you had a spike up in the Swedish krona, but I mean overall we're still really choppy here. Okay, so here's your bias chart. Take a real quick picture of that because I'm gonna start moving over to a lot of other analysis. Nick says